This is Mike Recklin back with you again. And the last video that I made went through a PowerPoint presentation, which we called Why Make Maple Syrup. This time, we're going to go through a handout that was given to folks who attended the Sugar House meetings. And here we're going to talk a little bit more detailed about getting you into that maple business, into the sap collection business. So I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. This is a handout that is available. You can download it from the site where these videos are being kept. You can, if you were to a Sugar House meeting, you should have a copy of this with you. But we can go through it and review what's here. So the first thing we need to do, if we're going to get you in the sap collection business, is do a forest stand analysis. And the question we have to answer here is, do I have enough accessible maple trees to make this work? We'll start out, we introduced you in the last video to Kate Photo. She'd come out, she's our forester, and walk your area with you and kind of talk through what might work in your forest land for a sugar bush. She'll come with a handheld GPS system, and you'll walk around the boundary line of this logical sugar bush area. And then she'll take and we'll upload it into Google Earth and print it out, and we'll have a nice little map like this that shows where your sugar bush could be. Then you and Kate will, having walked this area, kind of sketch in where your collection lines might be located as we move forward in putting a sugar bush together for you. While she's out there, you and Kate are going to do an inventory of the maple on this site to see if you have enough maple trees. Okay. General rule of thumb is you need at least 40 maple trees per acre in order to make a go of it. You don't want more than 80 to 100. If you're over that, it's probably too thick and you need to thin them out. So let's see how we would do this. We're going to inventory your site, your maple trees, by putting in a 10th acre sample plot. Counting all the trees would be a big job. So instead, we're going to scatter these sample plots throughout your stand, throughout your sugar bush, and see how many maple trees are in each of these 10th acre areas. So it's going to be a fixed radius plot. We'll lay out a tape in the woods that's 37.2 feet. That's the radius of a 1/10 of an acre. We'll go around, and any maple trees over 10 inches in diameter that's within that 10th acre plot, we're going to just count them. Okay. We're also going to measure the diameters because that'll come in later. Bigger trees can have more than one tap. But right now, we just want to know number of trees per acre. So after we count our trees, in an example I'm going to use here, we're going to say we have an area of 5 acres, and our sample data from a 10th acre plot, we do 5 of these on a 5 acre area, our potential sugar bush area. So on our first plot, we had 8 trees. Our second plot, we had 7 trees. Third plot, we counted 14. Fourth plot, 10. The fifth plot, 11. So we got 5 plots, 5 10th acres that we counted. In total, if you add those up, we counted a total of 50 trees. 50 trees on 5 acres give us an average of 10 trees per plot, okay? Average of 10 trees per plot. If I've got 10 trees on a 10th acre plot, that means I've got, on an average, 100 trees per acre. They're not every acre the same, but this is dealing with averages out there. If I have 100 trees per acre and I've got a 5 acre sugar bush region, that means that I've got 500 potential tappable trees within the sugar bush area. Well, that's kind of cool. But now the next question is, how much is it going to cost for us to tube this area, set up a collection system that you can then get into the sap collection business? So next question is, how much tubing do I need? We're going to go through a little bit of math here to show you how that's done. If I've got 500 trees, as we said, on 5 acres, that means I've got 100 trees per acre. I know that 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. I know that because I'm a forester and we deal in acreages all the time. You know that now because I just told you that. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. If I've got 100 trees on 43,560 square feet, that means on the average, 1 tree occupies 435.6 square feet of space within my sugar bush. It's just simple moving the decimal point. Now, if I've got some trees, this diagram down here, and on the average, we know that this is, sometimes trees are closer, sometimes they're further apart. On the average, each tree occupies 435.6, sorry about that, I've got to see this straightly, 436.5 square feet, okay, which is an acre divided by 100. That I've got a box drawn around that tree that represents 436 square feet. And if I wanted to know the size, the dimensions of the size of that box, we know for a square, the area is length times width. I can take the square root of 436, and I find that the side of each of the box, the length and the width of the box, is 20.8 feet, or approximately 21 feet times 21 feet will give you approximately 436 square feet of area, 20.8 times 20.8 to be exact. So if each of my trees sits in a 436 square foot box with a 21 foot by 21 foot dimensions, the distance from the tree to the side of the box would be half of 21, or 10.5, okay? And the distance of the imaginary box around the next tree would also, from the tree to the side of its allotted area, would be 10.5. And that means the average distance between the trees would be this 10.5 plus this 10.5, or 21 feet. Fair enough, okay? So the average distance between trees in my sugar bush area that had 100 trees per acre, 500 trees per sugar bush for the 5-acre block, is 21 feet, distance between one tree and the next. That's all averages. Okay. 500 trees with an average distance of 21 feet between them, and we're going to put tubing between one tree and another tree. You divide that out, and you find that it requires 10,500 feet of tubing to tube this 5-acre, 500 tap sugar bush. That's one of the questions we need to know. How much tubing do I need? Another is how number of lateral lines I need. And I'm going to say in this example that we're going to put 25 trees on a lateral line. Lateral lines go into main lines, which bring your sap down to your collection tank. And the rule of thumb here is you want between 17 and 40. You can go up to 40, you can go as low as 17 and be okay on the number of trees per lateral line for 3/16-inch tubing. And we are doing this because we're in West Virginia and we have a lot of slope for 3/16 tubing. If perchance you didn't have a lot of slope on your property, we'd have to recalculate this totally differently for 5/16-inch tubing. But for 3/16, 17 to 40, so we're going to use 25 trees per lateral line. And I'm going to take my 500 trees, and I'm going to say I'm going to have 25 per lateral line, which means I'm going to need 20 lateral lines for this system. And we know the tree distance between the trees is 21 feet. 21 feet, I need a total of 10,000 feet, 500 feet of tubing. I know I need, I'm going to put in 20 lateral lines. So my tubing and supplies needed, and Kate will go through this with you. We'll put this, have this in an interactive Excel spreadsheet. She'll go through it with you. So the tubing and supplies needed for this 500 tap example is I need, I got 1,000 feet per roll, $62 a roll for the tubing. These are all taken out of dealers' catalogs. Means I need $682 allocated for my system, putting my collection system up. Tree spouts are 25 cents a piece. These are what you put into the tree and to get the sap out. So I need $125 for my 500. We have drop lines that go into the lateral lines, and they cost 30. The drop line tees are 30 cents, so you're going to add that. You can see you need some flat hook collectors, mainline saddles, and we find out that it's going to cost us $1,010 approximately for a collection system, for the laterals of a collection system for 500 taps. Then we have mainline supplies, and I'm going to say that I have a 500 feet of mainline that I need in here, and 3/4 inch. We're going to put in 3/4 inch tubing, and so at 125 feet per roll, we need 250. It'll cost us $250 for our mainline tubing. And then this goes through all the other expenses associated with putting in mainline. And we end up finding out that our 500 tap sugar bush is going to cost us $422 for the mainline supply. So now we know what we need for the tubing that goes tree to tree. And we know an estimate of what we need for the mainline, which is going to take all these small 3/16 inch tubes and bring it together into a 3/4 inch tube and bring it on down to your collection tank. We also need storage. You're going to be a sap collector, and for a 500 tap sugar bush, the rule of thumb is you want 2 gallons of storage per tap, so you need 1,000 gallons of storage. And you're going to need a container to take and move the sap from your sugar bush to your collector, to the guy who's doing the processing for you, your collection hub, your protection hub. And so if we're going to need 4 of these, 4 tanks. The tanks that we can pick up easily at around $50 to $60 each are 250-gallon plastic containers. We need $200 of storage and 1 for transporting our sap for another $50. So our total expense in putting together this example sugar bush is a little over $2,000, or approximately $4 per tap to put in a collection tubing system. Revenue from the sale of tap. We're going to invest in this. We're going to get something out of it. We can expect 10 to 20 gallons of sap per tap per season. Okay. The average sugar content, we're going to say in this example, is 1.5%. We call it bricks of sugar. And price based on the amount of sap made and sold at bulk rate, Cornell pricing chart. And I'll have that chart in this folder as well for you. On a 50-50 split, it looks like this. We can expect from 500 taps anywhere from a high of 10,000 gallons of sap for the season to a low of 5,000 gallons of sap per season. Assuming the sugar content is 1.5%, on the high end, and using the Cornell pricing guide, and this is something that price per gallon that you would be paid for collecting and delivering sap to a production hub could vary, but the Cornell guide gives us using a bulk rate as a base, 25 cents per gallon, okay, as a high, and 21 cents per gallon as a low, okay, high number, low number. And we would expect revenues of anywhere from 2,500 to 1,500 if you use your low volume and your low price as your expected revenue from the sugaring operation. So if we're going to invest $2,000 in this operation, we can expect to get 2,500, or if it's a really bad year, only 1,050 at 25 cents per gallon. That can be higher or lower based on the negotiated price in here. To give you an example, Dry Fork in 2019, this is a big operation, got 16 gallons per tap, okay? That's between 10 and 20, okay? And your 500 taps would have given you $2,000, basically paying off the collection system. Brandon Daniels, another producer, got 22 gallons per tap. And now your revenue from that could be expected to be 2,750, more than the 2,500, more than paying off your system in the first year of operation. And remember, you only have to pay this, have this outlay the first year. From then on, your reoccurring costs are about $275. and everything else comes in as profit revenue to you. So you can see that, I mean, there aren't many businesses you can enter into that you can pay off your investment, your capital investment costs the first year, but this you can do, all right? Even if you have a low year and you're not quite paying it off, you're still more than halfway to having a business that's profitable to you. Again, at the 25 cents per gallon rate. You could expect to get that or more depending on your negotiation with the producer. So this gives you this basically runs through this handout, which was given to folks at the seminar, okay, at the little sugar house meeting we had. Also, in this folder is going to be a interactive Excel worksheet that has all these numbers in it, but allows you to say, all right, what if I don't have 5 acres and don't have 500 taps? I only want to do 100 taps. Or what if I want to go bigger and go to 1,000 taps? And it runs through these calculations and gives you the numbers you need to know what you need to invest and what your expected revenues might be from that for any size operation. So that's an Excel sheet that you're free to change the numbers on, and it clearly indicates what numbers in there can be changed, or what you need to put in for data to do an estimate on where you're going with this. Kate will work through this with you, so that when you finish with the field work and her analysis, you'll have a good idea as to the investment and the expected revenues from your sugaring operation. All right, with this, I'll sign off, and hopefully you'll go on here, get these handouts, look at these videos, and it'll help you decide whether you want to give us a call and become a SAP collector in the Sweet Opportunities Project. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.